Hi, welcome to this episode again. So in our previous episode, we worked on the content edit page, which is used by the administrators to update our articles. So, and that was the end of this, the pages related to the content. So the next pages we need to look at are the administrative pages. So that's when we click on the administrators, what do we have? So at that point, we have two main screens. So if you look at our prototype, so we have two main pages, which is the admins, let's say the administrative dashboard or the administrative homepage, which contains a form to add a new administrator and then the list of existing administrators. So right after that, we have the page which allows us to edit an administrator. So that is it. So in this video, our focus is going to be on this admins page. So let's name it. I think I've already given it a name, which is admin dashboard admins.php. So, and that's why when I clicked on the admins page here, administrators, it took me there. So let me just create this page. And since it is similar to other existing admin pages, so we can just pick any page and then update it. But I would like to pick a page that, so something like this, which has a similar component, or a page that has a form. So let me pick this one. So that's the content page. So that's admin content. So I will save like this. Control Shift S, then Control V to paste the name I copied. Save. Then I have a new page, and this one is going to have the title of admins. So the menu stays the same and the sign out menu stays the same. So here we have the content of the articles, the existing articles. So if I refresh, I should have it. So instead of content, I think we have add admin rather. So we have add admin, but here this is the component we are having here. This is the component, so we don't need to clear it. What I would do is, okay, I would give the caption here. Instead of content, it is going to be add admin, or let's even change it and say create new admin. All right, so but the list we have there is the list of the admins. So I will change the article titles into people's names, John Doe, and then we'll have anything related to John Doe. And here we don't want to do mass editing, so we can get rid of the first column like this. So for now, I'll just clear all other lines, so like this, just for us to see the first one exactly. So we have the name of the admin and we have the edit buttons. So that's this component here, the name, the date the admin was created, and then the actions we can take. So I think that is okay. And we don't have a pagination on this page because we assumed we might not have many administrators to the extent of having to paginate them. So we'll get rid of the pagination. Great. So now let's add the form to create a new administrator. So to do that, we'll go right below here and we'll set the form. And if you remember, wherever we had the forms, we had this form tag which had the class of signing, and that class actually helps us to contain the content of the form in a smaller size. So I will reuse that tag here. So the next thing is I need two fields that are on the same line. So I could just do something like a div, and then inside I will have a label for the name. Then I will do for name, and then input type text name, and then we didn't use any placeholder, so that's okay. And I think I have to kind of put these guys in a div. So let's say field, so we'll give it a field div. Great. And this one will say input group, or let me name it inline input, because we'll use this to inline two inputs, and each one of the inputs and its label, we'll put them in a field div. Field. So this is email, so the type is email, the name is email. Great. So let's preview. All right, so we have it here. Yes, unfortunately we've cleared the padding of the page, so in this sign-in we did not really limit the size of the form, but rather the size of the form was constrained by the size of the available space of the container. So in our case, since we made the container large by reducing its padding, so the form also followed. So I think that's cool. We just have to find a way of dealing with that, or even keeping it like that. We can still reduce the size, but I think we shouldn't bother about that right now. So let's go ahead and add our last field. So we have our inline fields here. The next field is the password field. So we have a label for password, and we add the for tag attribute, and we say password, that's the name, and then the input type of password, and the name is password, and of course the ID is going to be password. So I also have to indicate the IDs here, because we are using label for ID is name, and this one the ID is name as well. So this allows us to have the labels to be clickable, and then it will throw the cursor inside the field. So I think there's a mistake with the email aspect. So instead of small e, we use capital email, and then the ID should be email. So great, that's great. So even at this point, I like the form as it is, but let's try to follow our design, and it is an opportunity for you to see how such thing can be achieved. This is one of many ways of doing that. So I will go then and try to style this particular inline aspect. So here we'll go down, then we'll add a small comment to say that this is admins edit, or admins, let's say admins home page. So, and here we'll take this guy and display it as a flex, and reload and see. Great. So once we do that, we now say justify content space between, boom. So align items, flex start. Okay, so flex wrap, we wrap it. So this is to allow it to allow the fields to go on the next line when we are on a smaller device. So what it means is, if I try to do this, you see, so the name goes when an email comes below the name, so it breaks the email field and then sends it right below the name field, instead of keeping it in line with the name. So this allows a cleaner user experience for the users. So By doing so, we now have our design set up. So we could now work on this page here, this area. So instead of us to call it sign in, we'll rather call it, let's say, create admin form, something like that. So by doing that, we can come here and say the max width should be, let's say, 300 pixels, and then the margins top and bottom, let me make it 1 and left and right we make it automatic so that it centers it. So it seems I didn't get it, so it's create form. So admin content edit admin, so we are here. I think I did the changes somewhere else. So this page, that's why it is usually important to close the pages you are not using. So I try to edit on admin content edit. So let me close the page. Admin content single, let me close the page. Admin dashboard admin. So this is the page we are working on. And admin login, let me close that. So this is where I'm supposed to place this class. So if I reload, nothing happens. So let me still check what is going on. So this is the class, and this is the class. So let me keep the width like this. Okay, let me check that out. Well, I don't seem to see the class. Let me reload. Okay, then I can inspect again. Try to check the form. You can see admin content section. It seems it is not admin. Okay, let me be sure of where I'm working. So admin dashboard admins, admin dashboard admins. Then right after admin content, I have form. Oh, great. So we can see that we have 2 form tags. So that is really bad. So I have to close there and be sure of what I'm doing here. So I have form and I have form. So it means we can just get rid of this first one, and this is where it closes. Great. So now we have only one form, but that does not still explain why the star wasn't working. So let me still check, reload and see. Cool, that was it. That was the issue. So let me see. And then this actually, wow, that's it. Okay, so that being said, instead of width of 300 pixels, let me say it should occupy just 70% of the container space. All right, so something like that. That's cooler. So the margin bottom seems to be too little, so even the top 2, so let me increase it to 3 so that we get some space around the form. Wonderful. So that's cool. So this here will have the list of our users. And by the way, I would like to add some padding to the table. So I think we have our global classes somewhere up here. So after the links, the buttons, let me add TDs, and then all the TDs should have some padding of 0.4 rem. Great. So it gives us some space around the table contents. So that means if you go back to the the home page, the content page, so we should now have some spaces around our content. So this is it. We're done with the page, which allows us to add new admins and also have the list of the administrators, the existing admins. So if you enjoyed this episode, give it a like. Leave your questions in the comment section if you have any questions, and see you in the next episode.